Hey guys, this is Bruce, and I'm going to answer a couple more questions. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, I answered more questions that have been coming through over the past year on this channel. This Bruce Brown trial. I don't even know what I'm going to call this channel yet. It doesn't really have a direction. I just like say stuff. But in the past, I did a lot of security based content. And so people have been asking me questions about that. So I'm going to address two questions today, both related to cybersecurity, which is what I do in my profession. So if you didn't know, cybersecurity is related to information technology, which is computers, servers, routers, switches, systems that deal with data or the data itself. That's information technology. This cyber, that's the cyber portion, the IT. The security portion deals with the security of those systems, of a company or an organization's assets. And asset is where they keep their most important data, right? So that's why this industry has gotten pretty big and been pretty strong and has kept me gainfully employed for the last 20 years. And so the two questions that I'm addressing both are related to cybersecurity in particular. So let's start with the first one. Edward J. Cox says, looking at working in, he's responding to the H-2B visa content that I did yesterday, the question that I answered yesterday regarding the H-2B visa and coming here and getting a job and how you can find one with an H-1 or H-B if you're looking for companies that are looking for you. So he says, Edward says, looking at working in the United States from that viewpoint, my viewpoint, not sure if anyone would be interested as I only have a bachelor's degree, an associate's degree, and a master's degree in cybersecurity. Congratulations, by the way. And let's be frank, most people in the United States, not just in the UK, have this. Most people have that. And just wondering, what are your thoughts? So my thoughts on this, first of all, not everybody has your level of certifications. I, as a matter of fact, do not have a master's degree. And my bachelor's degree I got in 2004. And I was a full-grown adult by that time. So I would disagree with that. And I'll just to kind of show you, I'm not trying to, blow smoke. I'm being completely serious. So the line that you see here, like my face is covering this. Let me see if I can adjust this a bit. I want to adjust this graphic so you can see it. Let me see, how can I do that? I'm going to change the screen a bit here. I'm going to move my face around here, and there, voila. So what you're looking at, Edward, and anybody else who wants to know, regarding your statement about most people having a degree in the U.S. I can't speak for the U.K., but most people in the U.S. do not have a degree. Which this line here that you're seeing, the line on top is high school diplomas. The line on the bottom is 25 to 29-year-olds bachelor's degrees or more. So most people do not have a master's degree, let alone a bachelor's degree. As a matter of fact, in this industry, since I've been doing this, now this is just my opinion. You wanted my take on it? Here's my take on it. I've been doing this for a long time. I've worked for several companies as a contractor, as a full-time employee. I've even worked as an actual government employee. I was in the military for 8 years, and I was doing this stuff. I was doing security. And the consistent problem that we have is we can't find people who are qualified enough, meaning they have a bachelor's degree, they have a master's degree to do this job. Now, granted, I work for the federal government, so a lot of times you have to have a clearance for that, and they limit the amount of foreign nationals. You can actually get a job as a foreign national working with the Department of Defense or federal government or different state governments. You can, but it's a little limited in my field of work. But that being said, they're always looking, Google, Facebook, who have different contracts with the federal government and state governments, by the way. And Cisco, you name it, all of these U.S. companies are always looking for people who are qualified. And a lot of times they have to look outside of the country to get, that's why there's so many H-1Bs here, foreign workers, because a lot of times we don't have the skill set. Americans don't have the skill set. So it's really smart for employers and governments and organizations to pull from outside to get that people like you, people who have a cybersecurity master's degree or and specialize in maybe banking, security, or whatever. So in my field of work, I've, to sum up my dissertation on this, my field of work, I found that a lot of times they're looking outside to find the actual skill set that's needed because we don't have it a lot of time in the U.S. I don't know if the rate of degrees have declined in the past years. I would say probably, if I had to guess, I'd say that it's gone up. It's just this industry, cybersecurity, is so technical and there's so many things, so many moving parts, and so many things you have to know to get to a certain level that it's thin how many people that we have available. We're always looking for people, like always. Every place I've gone to is not overfilled with the skilled people that we need. And usually people don't have a master's degree, by the way, even when they're already sitting in that position. The certifications, I imagine, it throws a lot of people off, especially people who already have a master's or bachelor's degree. But certifications, if you've been doing this for a while, are actually not hard. The H-2B, I imagine that you are focused on having to look for jobs as an H-2B. You would probably be an H-1B. I think that that's a higher technical, they're looking for higher technical people. You'd probably be falling under that. There is a limit on how many people they accept a year in the U.S. I don't know if it's the same in Canada and the U.K., but in the U.S. they only accept, I want to say it's 100,000 people a year. And I think the cutoff date is September 30th. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on that. I don't know. But yeah, just to answer your question about my opinion on my take on it is that they're always looking for, and if I had your certifications, your degrees, I don't know if I would go to the US. I would imagine that there's lots of jobs there in Europe that are looking for your skill set. That being said, you can go on LinkedIn. I'm a big proponent of LinkedIn, of Indeed.com, of all of these U.S. company sites. They're always looking for people with your skill set. All right, so next question. Let me go to that one here real quick. The next question came from, this was from 6 days ago, came from Mostapha. He says, can I ask you a question? I'm 31 years old, and I would like to answer my question honestly. I don't know my way around a computer. I'm a truck driver. Do you think cybersecurity is a good fit for me? Yes, I would say cybersecurity is a great industry to get into. On a personal level, I would say it's not for everyone. That's something that you have to decide for yourself. It's really not for everyone. It takes a lot of patience. I wouldn't say that the cybersecurity group, the people that, my peers, I would not say that they're always smarter than anyone else. I would say that they're more determined because it takes a lot to actually learn it. It takes a lot of patience to actually get the knowledge. And I want to say that I have a new respect for truck drivers because I actually, on our other channel, we know a lot of truck drivers. And you can actually make good money truck driving if you own your own truck. There's another guy named, his name is HT Logic. If you're on YouTube, check out HT Logic. He's got about a little over 10,000 subscribers. And what he talks about is owning your own truck and then getting a contract with basically you own your own company, you have your own truck, and you haul stuff all over the United States. And I want to say that can potentially make more money than the average truck driver, because that's the problem probably, that truck driving doesn't make a lot of money. But if you own your own truck, you can you're writing your own check because it depends on your efforts of getting contracts. But back to the question, is it for you? Is it a good fit? I don't know. If you're just looking for the money and you're willing to do whatever it takes, yes, cybersecurity is a great job. It's one of the fastest growing industries. And let me just show you here. I'm not trying to blow smoke. It's during I remember in 2008 when there was an economic collapse, and a lot of my friends were hit by it. I was not touched. I was touching that. Interest rates were going up and down and stuff like that. If anything, it helped me because the interest rates, start going down again after they were super high for housing. But let me just show you here. This is coming from Investopedia, one of my favorite job-related, investment-related sites here. Let me see if I can get a better view of this here. Bear with me while I adjust this so we can see the full article here. Change it there. Okay, so this is from Investopedia, and so it's addressing the top 10 fastest growing industries in the United States, and this was published on July 27th, 2017. And the top of the list is computer system design related services. And I would say that that's true. Like I said, we're always looking for people. So you're not gonna be hurting for a job if you do this. Another one's Forbes. Forbes is a pretty good resource for looking at the industry and their effect on the market, U.S. market. And this article was put out April 9th, 2017, and it's the fastest growing industries in the U.S. And once again, on the top 10 list is, let me just see if I can bring it up here for you, is computer system design and related services. We're always looking for people. We're always looking because the industry keeps growing, and the more people rely on systems, the more they need security as a part of that, and it's very specialized. Now, if you did get into it, I'm just going to keep going through articles here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is monster.com, one of the top security job sites, not just security, but job sites in the U.S. It's very popular. I still get people asking me about it, but 10 fastest growing industries for executive jobs. Healthcare always comes up on the top 10. Technology always comes up in the top 10, and look at that, they specifically mention security in there. So this is real. This is the real deal. It's been like this for me since I got out of the military in 2003. I'm not hurting for a job. I can always get one within about 4 weeks. I can get a job, and they pay pretty good. But again, I would say, if your industry is truck driving, it's going to be a huge leap unless you're just obsessed with computers like me. I actually came from physical security, which is like being a cop. I was a cop for 5 years in the military. I was a military policeman, which means I had to learn law. I had to learn criminal justice, which is law. I had to learn physical security, shooting weapons. I was a weapons specialist. I knew several different weapons. So how do you go from that guy, security, to computer security? I was obsessed with computers, and it took me a few years. But I already had like my hands in computers even when I was a cop. I just was obsessed with it, and even like all those 5 years, I was always messing with my own computer. So when I transitioned, I had the patience to learn it because there's lots of other levels to it. I had to learn networking, computer networking, which is switches and routers. I had to learn what a firewall was. I actually had to administer firewalls, set them up from scratch. I had to do computer policies and regulations and all that kind of stuff. All of that took a lot of patience and a lot of time for me to get into. So to answer your question, let's go back to your question and sum this up. Is it a good fit for you? That's something that you, Mostapha, that's something that you have to answer for yourself. And but I will say it takes a lot of patience. If you're obsessed with this stuff, then I say you can do it if you're passionate about it. I was very passionate about this, and that's what drove me to keep going, to learn from scratch, from being a cop to doing computer security stuff, all aspects of it, Unix, Windows, Mac. Like, I touched every part of this because I remain obsessed with technology. So yeah, that's a question for you to answer. If you're just looking for the money and you have the patience, then I would say yes, it's definitely for you. I think I'm gonna sum this up. That's it, guys. Please like and subscribe to this video if you haven't done so already. If you like this content, I try to answer everything that comes through on this channel and on our other channel called Uears TV, where we talk about relationships and visas and things of that nature. And I think that's it, guys. See you later.